This is Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk. This is Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk.
All right. Welcome to another edition of the Real Talk Podcast, Real Talk Interview Edition. And today we have a very, very special guest on deck for y'all today. Y'all know how I do with the Real Talk interview. Real Talk interview is simply this. I interview people I find interesting, I find fun, I can talk to. I don't really care about y'all's opinions about whether or not y'all find them fun or not. This interview session is really for me and for y'all to get just a little insight in some folks I find humorous or I find enlightening or whatever the case may be. And today we got a special one for y'all today. This is one of the people who has known me for quite some time. We have been friends for 20-something years. No, since 1999. They put that. Y'all do the math. I ain't doing the math. Since 1999. She was my former tutor back at the Ohio University. Unsuccessful, not her fault, but it's my fault. Actually, it's OU's fault, but that's a whole other story for a whole other day. We might even get into some of that. She is outstanding. She is intelligent. She is amazing. She is awesome. Her name gives you the understanding of just who she is. She is the one and only Magnificent.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome. Yes. You ready?
Yeah, for the record, he passed the class I tutored him in. I just want to say that. Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't. You tutored me in calculus, and I failed miserably. But it had nothing to do with you. I mean, I still know calculus to save my life, but it had nothing to do with you. It was not your fault. It was my professor's fault. So the same. Before we get into this, since this is brought up, since she said and she knows this story. I don't know why she act like she don't.
It's been a while.
Right after, as she was tutoring me, we were dealing with finals. No, it's midterms. I'm sorry, it was midterms, and the professor is writing on the board everything that we need to go over for midterms. We have been in this class for 30 of the 45 minutes we're supposed to be in here with him writing on the board and us taking notes as to what we need to study for this doggone midterm, which was 60-something% of our grade. So if you failed this midterm, you probably failed the class, right? He stops, looks at the board, and says, everybody put your pencils down. I must apologize to you all. I was writing in Russian. None of this is going to do you any good. So just study for the midterm and good luck. 3/4 of the class failed that midterm. Yeah, I'll never forget that. So it wasn't really Mag's fault, but at the same time, she was still my tutor.
You might be the only one. But that's crazy.
The class I came close to passing that you also tutored me in was electrical engineering. But you stopped tutoring me halfway through because your schedule got busy.
Yeah, I was taking up I was doing chemical engineering, so everything got crazy.
All right, so you ready to get into this?
I'm ready.
All right, so here's the first question, because so many people, I didn't realize until I posted the flyer how many people would go ape for the fact that you're being interviewed. You don't really have, you got a social media presence, but not really.
Right.
Most of what has been posted is either you are posting pictures from a trip that you took 4 months before.
Absolutely. You don't get to know I'm traveling while I'm traveling. That's crazy.
Oh no, I agree. I'm not upset with you doing it. I'm just giving folks
photos. You don't need
right. So there's pictures of that. There's all kinds of stuff about your amazing son, my godson, tremendous. Yes. So there's all kinds of stuff about that. But there's not anything real about you. And lots of people who knew you back in college, who had a relationship with you just after college that one or both of us are friends with on Facebook. When I tell you, these folks have gone ape knowing that you were getting interviewed. First of all, I think some of them were like, oh my gosh, she's still alive, because I don't hear nothing from her. But it's gone crazy. It's insane. So here's how we're going to start this out. Because a lot of folks, even those who know you, don't know early you. So we're going to start with early you. So my first question is a nice general, ease you into the Real Talk podcast interview type question. Tell us about Magnificent as a child, and what are some of the most interesting things about your childhood?
Okay. Let's see. As a child, I was super talkative. Still am, right? But put that on like 20. Whatever you think I'm talkative now, multiply that exponentially. I started walking at 1.5. I was talking fully in sentences by 2. I would learn to spell my name at 2. All those fun things, right? My dad raised me. So my dad was my primary person, and my grandmother raised me. So a lot of people don't know that. My mom did not raise me. They were married, and then they got divorced because things happen. And my dad got custody. So very strict military guy. I had rules on top of rules. One of the things he used to say is, and I used it with my son, but one of them was like, you know you're doing it right when your teenager hates you. And the best thing you can do is not give your teenager any chance to think, because every thought they have is judged by hormones. So they shouldn't have any time to think. So it gives you a little window. I did piano from 4 to like 18. I was in ballet. I was in theater. I was in a color.
Hold on, push pause. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I'm gonna let you finish, but hold on, because you actually hit something I actually didn't know. I knew that you had done, but I did not know you had done piano. Hold on. You play?
From the time I was 4, I can read music very well. I can't hear for shit, you know.
Can you still play? Do you still dabble a little bit?
Yeah, I do. The latest stuff I was playing probably maybe like a few months ago was Alicia Keys. I was playing her Fallen because I got her sheet music. So I played on that. I can play that.
Oh, you gonna have to play. I know you can't do that now on the pod, but I promise I got to get a video of you playing. I did not know that. Like so much I know that I know about, but I did not know you. Holy smokes! Okay, I'm good. Go on. I just had to. When I heard, I had to hear it twice in my head to make sure I heard what I heard.
I did cheerleading. I did lacrosse. I did horseback riding. My 12th birthday. Was it my 12th? We're going to say 12th. It might have really been my 14th. I think it was my 12th, though. I flew a plane. My dad took me out on a Cessna. He surprised me. That was his thing. It was like, you're doing this. I couldn't say no. So I didn't know, and this is a real story, I didn't know that as a kid you could say no to your parents. Like, I don't want to do that. Even when they asked, I didn't think it was like asking. I thought it was a nice way of telling you, voluntold.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this until my cousin was about, like, 12, and he's 6 years younger than me. He might have been, like, 10 when he started saying no. And I was like, you can't say no. And he was like, I'm saying no. I was like, and they were all like, okay, well, we won't make you do it. And I looked at my dad and I looked at my grandmother like, it was optional? Like, all of that was optional? I played tennis one summer, the whole tennis at 5 a.m. Hated it. I begged to quit every day and they wouldn't let me. I'm like, I had options in this. So one of his rules in high school was that I had to have a sport and an extracurricular. So give you a little bit, I was in math triathlon, I was in everything. You name it, I did it. That was like my childhood growing up. So a lot of fun. Loved, still had a real creative mind, loved learning, always have. But I didn't like reading until 9th grade. A friend of my grandmother was a teacher. A friend of hers who was also a teacher said, you don't like to read? And I was like, I hate reading. My dad just makes me, and if I get in trouble, if I don't read and I get anything less than an A, I'm going to get in trouble. So I read because I have to, but I hate it. She was like, you just haven't found the right books. And she hit me to Eric Jerome Dickey, who ended up being my favorite author to this day. And I ended up learning to love books. Real talk. That's how I learned to be an avid book reader. But that wasn't until 9th grade. From, 3rd grade to 9th grade, I read all the time because I had to and hated it. So, real facts.
That's crazy because we're the opposite of that. I loved to read until 9th grade. It was killed for me. My English literature teacher, Mr. Zmianik, and I'm going to call him out because he ain't never going to see this no way. He's a great dude. Wonderful dude. Irritating. piece of garbage, but a great dude at the same time. Like when you were a freshman, you came into his class and he had stacks of yellow paper and stacks of white paper. Came into his class as a freshman, he would say, "Don't touch the white paper. That's big people paper. You don't get big people paper. You're little people. You don't get to touch big people paper until I tell you you're a big people."
That's horrible.
Yeah, that's him. But he's wonderfully disciplined while being my football coach as well. Good dude, but I also hate him as my English teacher. So he had us reading these short stories. And one of them was Lenigan versus the Ants. I will never forget this stupid, ignorant, trifling short story that destroyed my love for reading. No, because as a kid, I would go to the library, which was right down. Part of the reason I loved the library when I was a kid was because it had my last name, the B.F. Jones Library. I was like, I'm going to. I didn't realize it was a white person. I just knew my last name was Jones.
All right.
His Jones. We cool. I'm supporting Jones. So I would come home with 48 books at a time and read them in weeks. And so I just loved reading. But then came Lenigan versus the Ants. It's a stupid story about this guy who, I guess they're in Brazil or whatever, in this village. And every year around the same time, these big freaking ants are migrating, and they migrate through their land. And as they migrate through their land, they're tearing up the crops, eating up everything, and leaving the place desolate. Every year, these people know what's coming, and they leave and come back when the migration is over. Which is also stupid, because if you're leaving, you have a place to go to. Why don't you stay there? But anyway, they come back. So Lenigan decides this one year, I'm not taking it no more. I'm not leaving. I'm standing my ground. Bump these ants. I'm not leaving. This is my stuff. Long story short, he spends the entire short story fighting these ants. And you know how he kills them all off? He floods the freaking land and destroys everything anyway.
Aww.
So you did all of that, risked your stupid life for the exact same outcome.
But people do that every day in life. See, that prepared you to be a counselor for people in real life.
And people piss me off when they do that too. The other one that was right with it was The Lady and the Tiger. That's the other one I hate. We read these back to back. Lady and Tiger.
It is cute.
Oh, because that's how bad they were. I can't even remember my favorite book, but I remember these two short stories. The Lady and the Tiger is a stupid story where this princess falls in love with a peasant. They get together. The king finds out about it. He don't like it, so he throws him in the arena. They have these games in the arena where the person can pick one of two doors. Mm-hmm. Now, the only people who know what's behind each door are the royal family. So he knows this, so he's looking to the princess to tell him what door to pick, because behind one door is a tiger, right. Behind the other door is a lady, and if he gets the lady, he has to marry the lady.
So he's wanting what, the tiger?
He's going to trust her. Either you love me so much that you're going to watch me die and no one else can have me, or you love me so much you would rather let me go and see me in the arms of another than see me dead.
Oh, you need to pick the opposite. She was going to kill him. She ain't letting him get with that woman.
Here's the problem. We have no idea. Because the story ends with the princess pointing to our door. And then the author says, you tell us which door she picked. What the hell? No. I didn't write this book. Why I got to finish your work? You did this. Finish your story. Back to back. That destroyed my love for it. I stopped loving to read. I only now read if I have to. I have no love for reading anymore. Hate it with a passion. So it's interesting that you fell in love with reading at ninth grade, and my love for reading was killed in the ninth grade.
Oh man, yeah. You just haven't read the right books though. I think if you find that
I used to. I had read all of them. 48 books.
I know.
Every 3 weeks. Literally, I am this big at 7 years old, carrying 48 books from B.F. Jones Library to my house.
Yeah, because summer reading was real. Remember you were in the summer book club? I used to read so many books in the summer book club. And I'm competitive, so I had to win. But remember, I didn't like reading, so it was a good game.
I had to win. I also loved the pizza parties that you could get from being the class that read the most. I love Book It, so I can get my little pizza, Pizza Hut pepperoni personal pizzas. Loved them. Loved all of that. Ninth grade, killed it all.
Stupid fact, but fun fact. I used to win all these awards for reading, and then my parents, we went out they cooked or we went out, and I didn't need them. I'd always forget, but I wanted to win them, so they would go to waste. I started giving them away at the end because I was like, oh yeah, they're not.
You should never get. You should have sold them. Don't give them away. Sell them. You had a business right there.
I know, but I was kind-hearted until 8th grade.
You're still kind-hearted.
To some.
It's the look to the side.
I got a mean streak a mile long.
I mean, that's most people, but I mean, your mean streak is a little different.
Yeah, my mean streak is off the chain. I am so nice until I'm not, and then that's Virgo tendencies, and then we can both just go to hell together. And I think I'm fire resistant, so it's fun to play in that world sometimes. It's not good. It's not healthy, but it's fun.
There is a cartoon I remember from on the Animaniacs called Katie Kaboom.
Oh, I think I saw that one. I love the Animaniacs.
You are Katie Kaboom.
Probably.
You're good, but when you explode, boom, and take everything that's near.
Wipe out. I'm okay with that.
And once you're done, you're back to sweet and everything is, yeah,
not with
okay.
that person. It's crossed off.
No, I just mean sweet, period.
Yeah, that's true. But it's amazing how I thought that I was burning some bridges, like blowing them up. Like it's, this is bad. And people started to rebuild new ones. I'm like, dude, you didn't learn your lesson, or from when we had the last explosion. I think you still carrying some shrapnel with you. Like let the shrapnel, like let this go. We shouldn't be friends. They're like, no, we should be friends. No. I couldn't be friends with me after some of the stuff I did. I'd be like, yeah, we're not friends. They like, I provoked you because they know how good I was. And then they'd be like, we could be friends, but I don't want to make you mad anymore.
So here's the thing. You couldn't be friends with you not because of the stuff that you've done. Like if you did to you what you've done to other people, that's not why you couldn't be friends with you. You couldn't be friends with you because you're vengeful. So if you had done the stuff to you that you've done to others, you would then try to think of worse stuff to do back to you for what you've done to you.
I never strike first, so they had to hit me first. I'm always getting my lick back. I don't really go after people. And as a matter of fact, I have rules. Like the first time you do something to me, everybody play the fool sometimes. Let's just call it an even. Walk away. I'm no hard feelings. I don't even want to get a lick back. Shit happens. It's good. We're good. We're just not meant to be in the same airspace. You go your way, I go my way. It's when you come back and now it's intentional. Now you intentionally trying to fuck me over. Like, that's different. I have a right to defend myself at that point. I let you get away one time. You came back and then convinced me, because it's not easy to get back in my inner circle. So you had to convince me that you were worth the spin around the block or whatever. And that is not, then it's all fair.
But you're proving my point, because if you had done to you what was done to you,
I would never do that.
But in the hypothetical world, if you had done to you what you've done to others, the you that got it done to is now going to retaliate and do worse. It's going to be nukes being dropped back and forth. It's that's the only reason why you couldn't be friends with you. Because aside of that, you'd be the one whispering in your own ear, hey, that's not bad enough. You need to go a little further. Go. Hey, go a little further. You ain't heard him enough yet. Get him. You'd be looking for somebody to say, okay, you're done. They're good. No, you're not. Screw them. Get it.
I do need to see the pain. I am one of those that I can't go too far, especially if I don't. Because people try to act like it's not affecting them, so it can't go too far. Immature and older, I was worse when I was younger. The older I get, the harder it is. It's just, you see the signs long before then. So the good news is, the older I get, the harder it is to get me to have any kind of emotional high like that and go bananas. It's just not happening. I'm not letting you get me out of my peace, my zen.
I get it. All right, let's go on to this.
Hugging me was crazy.
Oh, I've
She's
heard
still
some
in there
stories.
somewhere. She's still in there somewhere. Yeah, might
Oh
share
no,
one.
she's down there. She's down there running the prison. That's what's going on. You thought you had her locked up, but now she's running the prison, just waiting on the time frame where she gets to walk out the door. She ain't going to escape.
Don't
She's
be
going to walk
wishing
out the
that on
door.
me. Wish me good. I'm gonna be happy and
I do
presentable.
wish you good. I do wish you good.
If somebody
I
do me
didn't.
that bad,
I didn't say she coming out. I just said she's running the prison, waiting on the opportunity to walk out because she's not going to escape. She's just going to walk out. She's the one. You ever see the movie where people's in prison and there's always that one prisoner who's got like the flat screen television and the record player and the rugs and the candles and all the stuff you're not supposed to have, and guards are handing them cell phones and stuff. That's you. That's you in prison. That's the you that out there just running everything. The warden is even scared of you right now.
bro, I'm there because I choose to be that person.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you don't do interviews with friends, everybody. Don't see, you know, have me tell you stuff. All right. What's your
Of
next
course.
question?
That's what makes this fun for me. So here's the next question. Here's the next question on the doc. And I'm sure you've probably been asked this one a million times, but it's an interesting enough question that those who don't know you, who are fans of the Real Talk podcast or Real Talk interview, will find intriguing because I don't think they think that this is real. Okay. So, you have one of the most intriguing and interesting names on the face of the planet. That's a normal name. Well, not a normal name, but it's not like some crazy stripper name or something like that, right? So but it is unique. So, what was the reasoning your parents gave, if any, for naming you Magnificent? And along with that, have you ever given any thought to how unique and how much pressure can come with a name like that?
I don't know. I'm gonna answer all of this, but first I'm gonna start with when I was 16 to like 16 to 18. Often during that weird range of time, I got asked all the time, is this your stripper name? So you say it's not a stripper name. I didn't think it was either until I turned like 16, and I was like, what? No. They like, you dance, right? I'm like, no.
That would be the worst stripper name ever. You have to add something after it. Either something before it or something after it. It can't just be Magnificent. It has to be like Magnificent Boobies or you know,
Tina Marie. So,
like it's got to be something. But go ahead.
So, so yeah, there is a reason there is a story behind my name. So my dad named me fully. So my mom's name is Tuesday, and she didn't want any kids to have an interesting name. She's named. I thought she was named after the day of the week because I was young, but she's actually named after the actress Tuesday Wells. Her father had like a crush. I don't even know what woman would allow their man to do that. To tell you a little bit about my grandmother being crazy, because you tell me you got a crush on an actress and then you try to name our daughter that. I'm like, no. But she said yes. So my mom's name after Tuesday Wells. She was Tuesday. Fast forward, and she had just had me. So while she's in labor, I guess I got to go further back. She's in labor, and he is in the room, and the doctor let him cut the umbilical cord and all that. And somewhere in the process, he says, that's magnificent, talking about the experience of giving childbirth. But his mind is, he was very verbose. So his words and some of his phrases he's used are amazing. So I still steal most of them to today. So as he's thinking on this, he decides somewhere after that that's going to be my name. During that time, they still put babies all together in one room, and they gave you a pink blanket and pink things, and gave you a pink card or a blue, all blue and blue cards. So he grabbed a pink card off the nurse's station and came in. My mom was maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes outside of labor, and she's exhausted. And he writes down Magnificent Nikita Stokes. So that's, I was born that. So my dad's name is Keith. I'm an 80s baby. Early 80s. And so there you go. I was born in 80s. So there you have all of that, right? So Magnificent Nikita Stokes. And my mom sees it, and she tears up the paper like, you crazy, and throws it back at him and is done with it. So he goes and gets the whole stack of nurses' cards, 1,000 of them, whatever it is. He comes back and sits down and is like, we're doing this all day. And he starts writing it the same name again, and she looks over and she signs. She tells him he's crazy, but signs that one, and that's how I ended up with my name.
He's persistent. I love it. I love
He
it.
wasn't changing it. Trey, my son, got his name
I was going to that. Yeah.
because everybody asked. So I thought I'd just tell. So I don't even know at what age my dad started trying to push for Marvelous. He always wanted a Marvelous if he had another kid, but he didn't have any more. So he's like sitting there like, I really want a baby to be named Marvelous. So he first started on my uncle. I remember my uncle getting mad, so mad that my cousin has my father's middle name to appease my dad. Like, I'm not naming him Keith, or I'm not naming him Marvelous. I'll name him Marlon. That's how Marlon got his name, because my dad harassed his younger baby brother so much that he was like, nobody ain't naming their kid Marvelous. But I was 14, and I remember promising him I would name my child an adjective. I was like, I don't like Marvelous, because I didn't like Magnificent at the time. And I didn't have a nickname, not really. So I was like, this is not it. So I was like, I'm going to give my child a nickname everybody can share, and not like a little family. So I was like, it's not going to be Marvelous, because Marv wasn't working. So I decided on Tremendous. As a matter of fact, I came up with names for all my kids and wrote it in a book when I was like 14. But fast forward, I only have the one, so it's only going to be Tremendous. And he goes by Trey. And so that's how he got his name. So when I ended up, getting married, having kids, I knew, and I told Charles, which was my first husband, I told him, we're going to name him Tremendous. And he was like, okay. When we were still in our early talking phase, he said, okay. And I was like, no, I'm serious. And he was like, okay. When we actually had our child, like 7 years later, he was like, you were serious. I was like, I was serious. So that's how Trey got his name. Oh, mainly because my dad wanted an adjective. Because otherwise I would have thought of something different. So you asked if I ever had, if I liked my name, or if I knew it was unique. Absolutely knew it was unique, because Romper Room was on, and I could never hear my name on Romper Room. And I remember crying to my dad, like in tears. Romper Room and Friends, right? And I see Billy and Sarah and Jane in that stupid mirror. And I was like, they never say my name. And I was like in full on tears. And he was like, your name is unique. I was like, it's not. It's Magnificent. Because remember, I could talk. So it was really hilarious. And I knew
I can
a lot
still
of
see
words.
that.
It was stupid. But I grew up knowing that I had an unusual name. And what the meaning of it was, I just hated it for like around teenage years. And then I spent 4 months, about 4 months, pretending my name was something else. As a matter of fact, I chose this name, Teresa, because it was a girl I knew that I looked up to. Her name was Teresa, and I liked her. So I was like, not like that, but it could have been like that, and I didn't know back then, but whatever. I liked her, so I was like, ooh, I'm going to just say Teresa. So we were in the mall, and you remember back then, malls were real. So it was Randall Park Mall. It's closed down now. But you would walk around the mall as a teenager. Your parents would go. My parents were strict, so I couldn't take the bus. They literally were still in the mall somewhere, and I'd just get some time to walk around. And guys would come up and approach you when you still had payphones. That's how old I am. Anyway, they come up and approach you and ask you for your name and your phone number and a pager. I had a pager, so I would say, I remember telling some, I didn't want to say the whole, what's your real name? No, really your name. Oh, I see you don't want to give it to me. Forget it then. I didn't want any of that. So I remember saying I used two names. Once I used Sarah and once I used Teresa. Teresa kind of stuck. So I remember telling my name was Teresa. So gave him my real phone number somehow. So he's calling the house phone. And my dad flipped out, let a few I don't know. We got away with it for a minute with nobody knowing, but parents answered the phone. So he had to say, hello, hi, can I speak to Teresa? And the nicer you word it was. So a few times my dad hung up. So finally I was like, no, I'm Teresa. And my dad looks over at me and, what? I was like, no, it's me. Just give me the phone, please. And he was like, okay. It threw him off. So he gave me the phone. So afterwards, he was thinking about it but didn't say anything. He finally said, I don't really like that. I said, well, just let it go, please, blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to say my real name. He's like, okay. So 3 months into this, he comes home one day, and he's like, I didn't name you Teresa. You have two options. Tell him your name or tell him not to call anymore. I don't care which one. It needs to happen tonight. By tomorrow, he can't call anymore under Teresa or you're grounded. And it walked off, and I'm like, all messed up. I ended up telling him my real name. The funny thing was I thought he was going to call me, tell me I was lying. He was like, that makes a lot of sense, because some guy, your dad, I think he would say Magnificent after saying, yeah, hold on 1 second. And I was like, who is he calling? He was like, and some people would hang up on me and say, you have the wrong number. I was like, oh, so it went easier than I thought. So one guy, his name was Jason. I don't even know why I'm calling him out. I gave him my real name, and I don't remember the other dude, but he got told he couldn't call anymore. This is before you got fucked. And I remember telling him, if he calls me ever again, I'm calling his mom and telling her that he called me, because I will get grounded. Like, I never told him my name. He probably still out there thinking I'm Teresa. But I never used the fake name again because I was like, sweating bullets. I was like, forget it.
Hmm.
I'll just be me. And so I started liking my name probably around 2018, 19, 20. And now I like it.
Well, it flows nicely into my next question. Would you like your name because of the pressure that can be associated with that? Because magnificent is not something that is average.
Yeah.
And so
My dad
anyone who
did used
knows,
to say a great name is, he quoted the Bible. Great name is rather to
Mhm.
be chosen than great riches. But he also really instilled with me that it's okay to fail. So it wasn't achievable. But even if I came close and that grew anywhere near there, I would be fine. And so I think that it sets you up to be successful and reach for things and strive for something better. But I was totally okay with never being able to achieve that. And I think that you just grow greater later. He used to say that all the time too. So each day build on you, try to improve, and that's a
Mhm.
great goal. And I think if I just do that, I'm very happy.
Okay. So anybody who knows you for real knows you are highly intelligent. And I emphasize highly for anyone who ever has a conversation with this woman. She winds up pulling out facts and statements and stuff that you're like, why do you know this? And then you find out that she reads everything. And then you realize, oh, this is why you know this. So, how many degrees do you actually have? And what
Three.
are they? Okay.
So
Let's
I
start
told
with
you I
that.
guys have a bachelor in chemical engineering. I have a bachelor in engineering management. I have an MBA. I mean, I have a master's in engineering management, and I have an MBA.
See what I mean, y'all? I talked. So three heavy. I don't think people understand. First of all, and this isn't my follow up to that because I have a follow up, but I don't think people understand. And I to a lesser degree, trying to have been in electrical engineering because I really wanted to be a computer engineering major, and they didn't have it there. They had me go through electrical engineering and told me I could parallel the two, which is stupid. Anyway, I kind of understand the level of intellect it takes to be a chemical engineer, but on top of that, like to be a black woman who is successful as a chemical engineer. I y'all don't kill me. I know there's a lot of black women who do it or whatever. But let's not act like you can name three. So I can name one, and I'm real good friends with her. So like that is something to really hang your hat on. If you did nothing else in life, that right there is something to hang your hat on because there's not many of you walking around the earth just well, at least the United States anyway, just able to talk. First of all, I'm a chemical engineer. I got that. I did that, and from what it looked like on the electrical engineering side, having been tutored by you, did it with ease. Not that you didn't have to work at it, but still did it with ease. Just keep it a buck. So like that is an outstanding accomplishment in itself, and then you couple that with two others. Let's not downplay that. But while we're not downplaying that, let's also understand that what that means is that education was highly important in your life growing up. And you already answered it, but I want to go back to it for just a moment. As how much was education emphasized growing up? Like how heavy was that in your youth?
So we never. Okay. Oddly enough, we did not spend much time talking about college. It wasn't there. I think when I was little, like 4 or 5, maybe, yeah, kindergarten, first grade, because I went to kindergarten at 4. So I knew college was important then, but no one ever said you have to go. It was just already in there. Like I was like, I'm going to college, and it was just understood that your life would be better if you went to college. But I don't remember ever getting like lectures on you have to go to college. I do get lectures on how important education in general was, making sure you learn something new every day, making sure you don't waste an opportunity. If you're going to be there, might as well be present, might as well get the most out of it. Those kinds of things. And I was an only child, so school became books and things were easy. They were like I had real friends too. I went outside today, but they were friends, so I really enjoy, and I was always around adults too, so I really enjoyed learning because everything was at a higher level. Naturally, if you're 4, 5, 6, 7 around all nothing but adults. So it's not like you think like you have to go, you have to go. I don't think that that works. I didn't do that with Trey either. It's just you embed it in your everyday culture. So we read every day. When I was little, my dad read books to me. When I got older, I read books with him. He would read with me. We alternate pages until the point where I would read on my own. When I hated reading, that's a little different. He'd read the book too on his own just to test me, but that's a different thing. But it was just understood failure and mediocrity wasn't going to be accepted. It was not accepted. So that I couldn't bring home B's and C's. Like that was never happening. You needed to get A's. And so to strive for A's, that wasn't that hard. And I excelled at it. It was kind of easy. So that's kind of where the expectation came. But then you just slowly build that foundation. Next thing you know, you're in middle school and then you're in high school. And then you're starting to think about what do you want to do in your future? And those were the kind of questions they asked. And that drives you to say, okay, well, at the time I thought I wanted to be a product review engineer. My dad was a recruiter, an executive recruiter. And so he used to come home talking stories about some jobs he would give people and what they were. And I got a chance to like follow him around on whatever, follow your parents to work day and do a couple job shadows of other people. And I really latched onto that job. So that's what I thought I wanted to do. And that set up, well, how do you get to do that? You got to go get an engineering degree and then build on top of that with a professional engineering degree at the time, I thought. So that was the trek that I thought I was going to take. But life is what happens when you're making plans. So very important. My grandmother was a teacher and educator, but not like you would think, like you have to go to college and you have to do this and you have to get a master's. We didn't even talk about it. My grandmother had a degree. My dad had a degree. We just... it was just expected, and you kind of lived up to the expectation.
Interesting, because again, we're kind of the opposite in that way, where college was not an option in my house. Well, it was, but it wasn't. It was, you have 3 options once you graduate high school. You go to college, go to military, go get a job, but you're going to go. Like, what's not going to happen is you're going to be just sitting around here. You're going to go do something. We prefer college. My mother went to college, but she didn't graduate. My father got a GED in his adult life. So college wasn't even in his foresight. My dad was a thug. He's wonderful thug, but he was a thug. Up until he met Christ in the whole nine, got saved, church in the whole nine. So it was in my house like, no, we prefer you to go to college. You will not be stupid. Like, we don't take stupid. We will take a hard B, but we want you to have A's. This is an honor roll household. If you got a C, we have a problem. My mom, I always remember going to parent-teacher conferences as a kid with my mom, and we would go, and I was always a good student. I was very likable as a kid. Much different as an adult, but I was very likable as a kid. And so the teachers would always talk well of me, he's so good, this, that, the third. And my mom would say, yeah, I know he's good. I see the grade, but his grade is not what I wanted. What is he not doing? What do we need to correct? Bump all this flattery. Yeah. What is he not doing that I need to correct so he can get to where I need him to be? Like, that's the kind of household I grew up in. And so going to college, I wanted to go, especially because I wanted to get out of my hometown. Like, that was my out. I saw that as an out. Get out of here and never come back. I told my mom at 14 years old, when I graduate high school, I'm leaving and I'm never coming back. I will visit, but I'm never coming back to the city ever again. I will kill myself before I live here. And to date, I've been homeless and still ain't gone back home to live. I refuse. The apocalypse could come, and the only place safe is my hometown. And I guess I'm walking around Thriller like a zombie. What I'm not going to do is just not doing it. So it's like that was, kind of the effect. But by the time I got to college, I hated it. I hated every bit of college. It was a means to an end for me that didn't work out to be the end, which is why I changed majors from electrical engineering, because I didn't even want to be an electrical engineer. I wanted to be a computer engineer. The only reason I wanted to do computer engineering was because late 90s, early 2000s, computers became the big deal, and I knew that's where the money was at. Let me get into that, get this money, run my own business, and I ain't got to work for nobody because I don't like people enough for them to tell me what to do 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. It's just not what I want to do.
I think we I mean, I didn't like college, and and I think that it was a means to an end. I always knew that too. It was the piece of paper I needed to launch the next step. When I went to college, I told you like, well, in like ninth grade, I thought I was going to be a project review engineer. By the time I actually went to college, I knew I was going for engineering, but I thought I wanted to do patent law, and the only way to do patent law is to get an engineering degree and then do law school. But things changed along the way. I was burnt out after KME, and especially at OU, I was very burnt out. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like everybody else says, success is one more step past. Just keep going, and it'll happen. So there was times in there I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. But then, I'm so logical. I looked at how long it would take, how much I had left, if it was actually doable, and how much it would change my major, and it wasn't in the cards. And I chose Kimmy. I like science and I like math, but all engineering is that. And yeah, I like chemistry. Actually, like biology more. I chose chemical engineering because they paid the most and they were A-beta accredited. Simple as that. I knew I could get a job, and I kind of followed that path throughout most of my career. Have off ramps because life will happen, and my dad used to say that too. Make sure you plan for the unplanned. Have off ramps, and so just in case, and it's worked well.
I get it. So since you mentioned OU, we've been talking about OU a couple different times. The Ohio University, the bootleg Ohio State. I hate Ohio State too. I've always y'all are like the redheaded stepchild of Ohio schools. What? Anyway, I'm just that's a whole other story. What was your favorite experience and your least favorite experience at OU? Oh, the eye roll.
Favorite experience.
I touched a nerve.
Yeah, on the least favorite for sure. Favorite experience was seeing people cross and go out to those little, I don't even know, little things we did at the garden, sitting in Little Africa. Why we called it that, I don't know, but we did. And just laughing, having jokes told. That was by far my favorite experience. And I had great experiences there. But that's by far, like, the funnest memories. Least favorite experience. It's got to be when I had to take a teacher to the dean for being, and how to put it, I'm pretty sure he was just racist. But if he wasn't, we'll go with it wasn't working for me. I had a teacher who, no matter what I did in his class, no matter if I got an A, if I got an F, he would just give me a C. So I had to take him to the dean, and he accused me of plagiarism because a student he liked took a file from me or asked me, I showed him my file, and that kid used it in his, and he refused to believe it was mine, even with evidence. So we had to go to the dean, and the dean returned my grade to an A, gave the teacher a hand slap, but he was a tenured teacher, and that was bad because that tenured teacher was going to be in future classes, and that was just difficult. But yeah, probably my least favorite thing to do and hardest, and just I had never really had overt issues like that, and I never been accused of like plagiarism. I was very high A, not quite straight A's, but almost very close students. So I just never had any problems like that. I was teacher's pet and all that jazz. So it was like to be accused of something so crazy was like, are you serious with me right now? It got to the point he changed his whole classroom syllabus to the fact that he would collect tests because me and another person had compared our test scores, and we had exact same answers, and they got 100% and I got a C. With nothing on it, just no X's, no marks, just a C.
Wow.
So I took all of this evidence to the dean. I got an A, but it came at a cost. It was a good lesson for me, but it was my least favorite experience. The lesson was that my grandmother used to say it, and I didn't understand it. And that's something that happens too. You don't understand things until later. She used to say, every battle doesn't need to be fought. In the end, you want to win the war. And she was like, if you fight every battle, you will exhaust yourself early on and you will not win the war. So you have to pick and choose your battles. And I was like, I don't understand any of that. And my dad was one to tell you, challenge issues, bring them up, be outspoken. If you wanted to combat him, his first answer for everything was honestly no. So if you wanted to change it to a yes, you had to negotiate. So it made great negotiation skills. But he gives you this false, and I sometimes lose, but sometimes win, but it gives you this false sense that life can be fair or you can be heard out and just anyway. It was a great experience for. I don't know what that battle should have been, and how I could have played it different, but it definitely prepared me for strategic thinking, and I've been a lot more strategic in life ever since, and it served me really well. But I could have lived without that. I don't care what anybody said. I could have gone without. That was a hard semester.
I can't, other than meeting you and GVF and some of those within GVF. Yeah. Oh, you can go to hell. I just that's how I feel about it. I don't. It was the vehicle that got me where I am now, so I appreciate it, but I hated it. Like, screw OU. Most of Ohio as a whole, not necessarily the people, but Ohio as a whole.
I mean, if
I ain't ever.
I'm going to make the best of anything. So I had some great experiences there and some funny ones too. I had some not so good experiences. I remember one time I was dating a guy, and I only dated one guy in college. So I was dating this one guy, and he had a friend, and I guess apparently a friend had a crush on me, but I didn't know. So the friend had totally lied and said that he didn't say we slept together though. He said that I don't even know. Can I say whatever? What can I say?
Yeah. You're good. You said whatever.
He claimed, and he was like one of those guys that all the girls had wanted, and I just didn't. I never liked that guy. Maybe because everybody say you look for guys like you. I just never liked that slick guy. I like authentic, intelligent, cool guys. I'm kind of nerdy. I never liked everybody else liked them. They kind of player, kind of bad boy. I wasn't for that. So he had that vibe, but girls went crazy for it. But anyway, since I was seen as one of the guys, because I had a full boyfriend, I guess he used to try to holler, but I didn't realize it was that at the time. And he told my boyfriend that he had tasted me, right? And that I told him no, we couldn't have sex, but he had tasted me. Why had we never done anything? Not even kissed. And so my boyfriend going off at me saying me and him did something. Not while we were in a relationship. This he's saying way before we were in a relationship. But nothing happened. I hadn't even kissed this dude. And I was like, he said what? And everybody looking like, well, why would he lie? He's like the most popular guy. He can get any girl. I was like, well, that might be true, but he couldn't get me. I don't know why he lied. Anyway, we played a card game. And then, you said I got a mean streak. So, yeah, we were playing this card game. I think we were playing spades. Anyway, we're talking shit across the table. And he said something like, you talk too much. And I was like, are you a Lloyd? Meaning lie on your dick. And he was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you want to go there? Let's go there. And then he was saying something, and I finally was like, oh, so you said you ever did anything with me. Have we even ever kissed? Have you ever seen me, touch me? He was like, I never said that. And all these dudes was like giving him shit. Yes, you did. Anyway, I ended up like smacking him with a card and just embarrassing him. He was all upset. He had to admit he lied in front of all his little friends. It was good times. Yep.
Based off of the description, I think I know who you're talking about. He is who I used to call Alphabet Man. I'm going to describe you. Tell me if I'm right. He was slightly tall, what I would call a waffle-colored Negro. He was a little light-skinned on the waffle side. Yeah. What was in one of the frats? Yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about. I called him Alphabet Man. I had to punk him one day. Yeah. He was trying to holler at a girl who was like my sister. She was one of the freshman class coming in. I was still, I think I was a junior at that time, before I left OU completely. And so, he was I think he was a super senior by that time, super senior 1 or 2. And she freshman. And anybody who knows me knows I'm uber protective over the people in my life and what you're not going to do. And I knew his rep at that. Right. So he came to her dorm and was sitting in her mod trying to holler at her. She didn't know, and he didn't know that I was on my way over, because me, her, and another sister of ours, we were supposed to be going to lunch over at I forget what the doggone cafeteria was. It was on the South Green. Yep. We were going to diner over there, so he didn't know I was coming, and they weren't paid. Yeah, I think it was that. And so they didn't know that I was coming over to get him at that time. They just knew we was going to lunch, so they were just talking. I walk in, I see him on the couch, and I looked to my other sister, what the heck is he doing here? Oh, yeah, he trying to holler at. I said, yo, bruh, not going to happen, bruh. What you mean? He stood up thinking that I'm short. Meanwhile, I'm the same height as him.
And you crazy.
That's the part he didn't realize. Because when you stood up and looked at me, I said,
Especially
sir,
with somebody you care about, you gonna go all in, all the way.
I said, sir, do you want to live to see tomorrow? Oh, what you mean? I said, see, here's the difference. You're standing up trying to punk me because you think you'll fight me and it'll be over. If you win, I'm coming back the next day. And I'm not coming fair. And I will fight you until I kill you. And I'm from Pittsburgh, PA. I know where to bury bodies. We have a place called the Hill District in Pittsburgh, PA. It's nothing but big hills and low valleys. I will throw you in a woods and no one will find you for 30 years. Do you love your mama? Do you want to put her through this? And I'm walking to him as I'm saying this. And he's got this look in his eye like, this nigga's crazy. I said, if you want to walk and see your mama again, leave this dorm and leave her alone. They went out on one date, and she doesn't know that I punked him again before they went out on this date. I don't know if I told her. I may never have told her, but I punked him before they went out on this date, and I told him some things, and I let him know I'll kill him. And then, because I'm allowing this date to happen because she's bugging me so much, not only will I kill you, but I'll find your family. And I'll take them out too just for being associated with you. So I know exactly who you're talking about. I used to call him Alphabet Man for a reason.
I don't know why he chose to lie, but I was like, man,
because he's a liar.
You can get. But I mean, I saw girls, physically saw them go Google opera him, and they were pretty girls. And I'm like, you ain't gotta lie. And because he could pull so many girls, he lied.
But that's
and I was
the thing.
like, you believe him.
He really couldn't
He
know.
didn't even tell a really mean lie, but for somebody who hadn't done anything and was still pretty innocent, I was so upset. Look, stupid, but it's funny now. But
No, that's the thing. He really couldn't pull any girl. So if you go back and really think about it, all the girls who were going googly eyeing him were always younger than him. Yeah. It's only because he had that age, and he also had the status of being in one of the premier frats on OU's campus at the time that made him kind of appealing. Nah, little punk.
Okay.
Anyway, I had a flashback. Yeah, you saw I had a flashback for a second almost. But yeah, let's move on. Okay. Let's get a deep you kind of a question. Then we'll go into some other topics. I love this question. This is the type of question I ask almost every guest, or want to ask almost every guest I have had and will have on this interview podcast. If you could go back and tell young Magnificent one thing important to you, what would you tell her and why?
Well, since I didn't really understand it and didn't learn it, and I think it took a long time, I would just really emphasize that don't try to impress anybody. Authenticity and just being you will be just fine. Because early me, not later me, but junior high, like a little bit, 7th grade, 6th grade, 5th grade me, yeah, no, I would go back and tell her, stop trying to be with the cool kids, stop trying to be anybody other than whatever you want to be. Just be 100% authentic to you, and everything will work out better than fine. People will try to flock to be your friend, and you won't even want it anymore, and you'll be at peace as opposed to the rest. Because I think it changed a lot and jaded me in ways, or just hurt in ways that I didn't have to hurt early on, and I would have learned that a lot earlier. And I'd also tell me to trust my gut. It is so accurate. I know every woman says that, but it's crazy accurate. And whether you believe in astrology or not, I do. So I'm a Virgo, and the things they write about Virgos. So it's just true. I'm very good at reading people. Extremely good at it. I'm extremely detail oriented and pick up on, like psych. You pick up on minute details that almost make it feel like you're foretelling the future. Just trust my gut, because every time I have gone against my own intuition, I'm disappointed in myself, and then I have a lesson I have to learn out of it. I'm like, and if I just would have stuck with my intuition, I'd be leaps and bounds ahead. So that I would definitely share that with me.
First of all, shouts out to the Psych reference because I used to love that show. So the fact that she referenced that's A1. But one of the reasons I asked that question, and this is a quick aside, shouts out to my good friend Lex the Visionary. She is an up and coming artist. She's right now in Baltimore. She was based in Atlanta. I've interviewed her here on the Real Talk podcast before. She has an EP project out called The Lotus Project, but on this project is this track. It's called The Last Time, and for anybody who wants to hear it, if you want to take a chance to hear it, it's on YouTube. Type Lex the Visionary, Lex the Visionary, and then type The Last Time. The basis and premise of the song is essentially that she is talking to her younger self in this song, and it is my favorite song on that track. Because the way that she does it is so awesome that I'm like, yo, I got to make sure when I interview people, because I want to know now, what does everybody want to say to their younger self now? Because that song, it's that kind of good. So shout out to my friend Lex the Visionary. She'll know I'm shouting her out, but shout out to her anyway.
I'll go check it out, Lex.
It's good time. It's good stuff. And she has a lot of other stuff on her Spotify, but that is the one that I push the hardest on. It's my favorite. Most people's favorite track on that, because I don't think they understand the depth of The Last Time. Most people's favorite track is Friends, which is it's like kind of an upbeat party anthem type song that she does on it. It's cool too, but The Last Time though.
I like country music because I'm a word person. I like R&B and rap too. Don't get it twisted, but I love anything with meaning and deep words. It doesn't even have to. I like poetry. It don't even have to have a beat. So I'm sure that I'll be vibing off of The Last Time.
Yeah. When you hear it, please let me know what you think, because I ride for that song. I fought because she did her listening party when she first released it, and I helped do the video for it. Not the video for the song, but the video for how she did the listening party. And I told her, because she was putting up a poll, what should be her single. I was pushing for that song. I got voted down. But I fought tooth and nail. Like, when the voting was done, I was texting her after, like, hey, screw what they're talking about. That Last Time, though, that should be the one. Because it is... Anyway, this ain't about her. I'm sorry. I just love that song.
It's about repping anybody who's good at art. You know that. It ain't going to be about anything. That's awesome. I love giving shout-outs, especially to a female artist. That's going to be amazing. And we need all... And, so I'm going to go and give her some likes and rep it too. That's awesome.
Appreciate it. I'll let her know, because it's. I'm telling you, that song.
This is Real Talk. Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk. This is Real Talk. Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk.